In Tokyo, a private living space barely larger than a walk-in closet can cost half the rent of a traditional apartment, but it comes with constant negotiation over noise and privacy, and with sharing daily life with strangers. For young workers and students, these 4 to 6 square meter rooms offer affordability and proximity to opportunity. But what invisible costs come with living side by side, morning to night, in a city built for efficiency above all? A single private room in a Tokyo share house measures between 4 and 6 square meters. That is small, less than the footprint of a standard elevator or a large dining table. Each room is just wide enough to fit a narrow bed or futon, a compact desk, and a slim wardrobe with barely any floor space left for movement. In some buildings, a window lets in a sliver of light, but others rely on the corridor for ventilation. The door opens directly onto a hallway, shared with up to a dozen others. These corridors serve as the backbone of the building, typically lined with 6 to 12 identical doors on each floor. The walls are thin, sometimes buffered by lockers or storage shelves, but sounds travel easily. Footsteps, doors latching, the low murmur of voices. Communal spaces branch off from these corridors, a kitchen with induction stoves and a row of sinks, bathrooms divided by gender or floor, and a laundry area with coin-operated machines. Lockers and cubbies fill every available corner, holding shoes, suitcases, or groceries that will not fit inside the rooms themselves. Some houses offer a shared lounge, but in many, the corridor is the only space where residents cross paths. The architecture enforces limits. With just 4 to 6 square meters per person, daily routines are compressed into the smallest possible footprint. Every object must be justified. Every square centimeter counts. The building's design makes it impossible to forget how close everyone lives and how little room there is for anything extra. At 7 a.m., a 22-year-old student wakes to the sound of footsteps in the corridor and the faint clatter of dishes from the kitchen down the hall. The room is too narrow for lingering. Clothes are chosen quickly from a single rail, and the morning routine is compressed into a series of practiced motions. Fold the futon, tuck away the laptop, check the phone for train times. The shared bathroom is often occupied, so timing is everything. A mental note is made to avoid the kitchen rush. Breakfast will come from the convenience store instead. Outside, the air is dense with the hum of the neighborhood. The walk to the station is just 350 meters, a straight shot past vending machines, shuttered storefronts, and the glow of a 7-Eleven sign. The konbini is a daily stop, its shelves lined with onigiri, sandwiches, and canned coffee. A quick scan of the Suica card pays for breakfast in seconds. The store's quiet efficiency is a comfort, a predictable pause before the city swallows the day. The station platform is already crowded by 7:30 a.m. Announcements echo overhead in clipped Japanese, blending with the shuffle of commuters and the low rumble of arriving trains. There is a rhythm to the morning, a choreography of bodies boarding and disembarking, each person absorbed in their own bubble of headphones and phone screens. For this student, the 7-minute walk and the familiar station sounds become a buffer, a way to reset before lectures and obligations begin. The city's infrastructure, the konbini, the trains, the short commute, makes this compressed life possible, offering small moments of autonomy within the boundaries of shared space. In the heart of Tokyo, the difference between a private sharehouse room and a solo apartment is measured in both square meters and yen. Rents for a 4 to 6 square meter sharehouse room average between 50,000 yen and 70,000 yen per month. That figure typically includes utilities and cleaning fees, and it covers a footprint smaller than most parking spaces. By contrast, a solo micro apartment in the same neighborhoods, often just 10 to 15 square meters, commands monthly rents from 80,000 yen to 120,000 yen, with additional upfront deposits and key money. For many, that gap is decisive. The roots of this arrangement trace back to a single policy change. In 2001, Japan amended its Building Standards Act, removing minimum size requirements for small unit rentals and relaxing fireproofing rules for buildings under 100 square meters or 3 stories. This opened the door for developers to carve out micro rooms in older buildings and new constructions alike. Contracts from this era, stamped with the new legal codes, set out the terms: private rooms as small as 4 square meters, communal kitchens and showers, and flexible lease durations. By 2025, more than 5,000 share houses operated across Tokyo, offering tens of thousands of beds to students, interns, and young professionals. The economic logic is clear. As Tokyo's land prices and new apartment costs soared, rising 66% from 2015 to 2024, demand for affordable options intensified. Operators like Oak House and Mitsui Fudosan responded with branded share houses, promising station proximity and lower rents. For residents, the trade-off is not just about space, but about what can be sacrificed to stay in the city: a living room, a kitchen of one's own, or the privacy of silence behind a locked door. For some residents, the real test of micro-housing begins after nightfall. In a narrow room just over 4 square meters, a 25-year-old IT worker lies awake, listening as footsteps echo along the corridor and doors click shut in the darkness. Sleep comes in fragments. Even the softest sounds, water running in the shared bathroom, a phone vibrating on a desk next door, seep through the thin walls. On busy nights, the kitchen's fluorescent glow and the clatter of late meals drift down the hall long past midnight. The mind struggles to settle when privacy feels so fragile. Coping becomes a ritual. Noise-canceling headphones rest on the nightstand within easy reach. A white noise app hums from a phone, masking the unpredictable rhythms of shared life. Some nights, the worker pins a note on the communal board, asking for quiet after 11 p.m. Most residents respect these requests, but not always. The boundaries are as thin as the walls, negotiated and not guaranteed. Sleep deprivation is common, especially for those working early shifts or late hours. The IT worker describes a cycle. Fatigue builds, focus slips during meetings, patience wears thin. Yet there are small acts of adaptation: a curtain hung across the doorframe, a schedule for showers, a rule to never leave alarms ringing. Over time, these measures add up, each one a small protection against the constant interruptions of shared living. Residents learn to read each other's routines, practicing a kind of silent consent. Companionship can soften the strain, but the cost of constant proximity is measured in restless nights and the mental effort required to carve out a sense of self within a space that never truly belongs to one person alone. At the edge of the city, this is how people hold private life inside public rooms. For many, the decision comes down to weighing privacy against price. A 28-year-old hospitality worker describes the process as a kind of personal equation. In a solo micro apartment, the rent is higher, and the upfront deposit can equal 2 months' pay. The space is private, but the silence can feel heavy after long shifts. In a shared house, rent is lower, and deposits are minimal, sometimes just a cleaning fee and the first month's payment. There is always someone in the kitchen or passing through the corridor, which means small talk is built into daily life. Some residents find comfort in these brief exchanges, while others treat the common areas as a necessary compromise. The choice is rarely about preference alone. It is shaped by the need for flexibility, the desire for connection, and the realities of Tokyo's rising rents. Living alone offers control, but at a cost that many are unwilling or unable to pay. Urban planners in Tokyo are watching the evolution of microhousing closely. Some advocate practical solutions within the existing system, such as improved sound insulation between rooms, better ventilation in corridors, and expanded communal storage to reduce clutter. Municipal guidelines now encourage developers to incorporate acoustic panels and wider corridors, aiming to soften the impact of daily noise. there is also discussion about flexible zoning that would allow more daylight and green space in new builds, even on small plots. These are incremental steps, but planners see them as essential for making dense living not just tolerable, but healthier and more sustainable. The hope is that, with thoughtful design and policy, shared microhousing can offer both affordability and dignity in a city where every square meter matters. Every year, Tokyo adds nearly 100,000 new residents, and land remains finite. As cities worldwide grow denser, the walls that define privacy and community keep shifting. Microhousing isn't just a compromise. It is a signpost for how urban life may redefine what we call home. What would you accept?